Are you having a stroke?
Oh my God,
What?
it's so weird you said that, because the other day I was having a really big issue with my words and like things. I really thought I was stroking.
Did you smell burnt toast?
No, no, I didn't. And I was with the guy I'm seeing, and he's like, hold up your left arm. And I could. It was no problem. And he was like, okay, because apparently that's one of the tests.
Oh.
I don't know. I took CPR like a long time ago. Remember when I used to work at the gym?
Yeah.
Yeah, I took CPR then, and one of the things was like knowing the signs of the stroke, and it's like slurred speeches, this, that, and there's like a test, like, can you lift up your left arm?
Isn't it funny that most people are right-handed, but the left arm is responsible for so much like that? And
well,
if
the
you're having a
heart
heart
is on
attack,
your left side,
that's
right?
why. Yeah.
So I feel like that's all your veiny ventricles.
And it's to do with blood flow to the brain.
Right.
Well, glad you're here. You made it.
I am.
She was just drunk.
No, I wasn't.
Oh.
No, I wasn't. No. Okay.
Okay. Well, there we go. Jenna's okay. I didn't have a stroke either. Thank you for asking.
No, but are you sure you didn't have a stroke?
Why?
Because when you decide to put that jacket on for the podcast?
You don't like my James Dean leather jacket?
Is it real leather?
Yeah, it is. Smell it.
I'm impressed with you.
And look at the inside. Ooh, sexy red.
Super
It's like
hot.
Dracula red.
Right.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
And you'll see all this glamorousness.
That's right.
All right, here's the letter. I'm currently 23 years old, and I'm talking to my former high school teacher.
Ooh.
Yes, I know what it must sound like, but hear me out.
We're listening.
He taught in my high school for a year and moved away to pursue a career in law. He's a lawyer now, and that was 10 years ago. I haven't met him since. We've only started talking recently. We have an 11-year age difference. We connect so well because we bond over work, politics, and dogs. He would text me every day, but nothing too inappropriate. He's also expressed how he wants to see me in real life and have a conversation in person. Is this a bad idea?
Woo!
I want to know how he got your phone number in the first place, girl.
Or was it on Facebook or something?
Or boy, or person.
But wait, she didn't say it could have been on Facebook.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That obviously, that's how everything happens now these days. Is like when you reconnect with like an old person, like an old love or something, it's like, oh, they messaged me randomly on Facebook or.
Well, I was waiting for that letter to take a sexy turn or like that they're dating, but they never said once that it's sexual.
No, I think that's the question is I've been talking to my former teacher. Is this weird? I bet you this person's friends is being like, that's weird. You're with Mr. So-and-so?
Yeah.
You're talking to Mr. So-and-so? But then I tried, like, I'm 35. I'm 35 right now. Jesse's 20.
Don't look at me. Yeah, thank you.
I'm 35 right now. I would be considered an older teacher.
Well, not older, but I see what you're saying.
But there's teachers that are like 25 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had a PE teacher that ended up marrying a student. When he taught her, in grade 12, she was 16, 17, and he was 17. Like 25. That's only an 8-year age difference. Then she graduated, and then they started dating after, and then got married. I don't find that weird.
Well, no, but because every year you get older, the age difference matters less and less. 17 to 25 is still a big deal. 30 to 38, not such a big deal.
Right.
So that factors in.
But you're right with that. Like, I remember when we just graduated high school and my friends were like 20 and they were dating like 17-year-olds.
Yeah.
And they were like, it's not that big of an age difference. I'm like, it's not. But what do you have in common with them? You've now been out of high school for 2 years, which is so different when you live on your own and all that stuff. Like, what do you have to talk about? They talk about what Jesse said about them at school. Like you have like real world issues to talk about. Like, I need to pay my bills.
Me and Regina George. Yeah. In the lunchroom. Yeah. No, you're right. I'll tell you about myself because I've reconnected with a teacher. No, I would, but not at the time. Well, you think about these cases. Wasn't there just recently some female teacher in the news because she was fucking all these boys? Yeah,
except for that's like rape.
Yeah, statutory anyway.
Which I find so interesting about the teacher-student relationship when it does come to like illegal activity, when it's like a 13-year-old and a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Is most of the cases are women teachers with men. Think of the very first one was Mary Kay Letourneau.
Right.
And she ended up marrying him and having kids with him.
They're still together.
She died.
She did?
Yeah. She died of cancer.
Oh.
Yeah.
I saw a recent special, well, not that recent, obviously, but it was really fascinating to hear that they stayed together for that long.
But the controversial thing about their relationship is she went to jail for him and still came out. So was it really true love? So when she did pass away, everyone was being like, oh, I'm sorry that she passed away. Like, my respects to her family and stuff. And people are like, no, she was a pedophile. Which she was. She was a sexual predator. She was with him when he was underage. She took advantage of him. He didn't have a great home life.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't think this is a circumstance like that. I think it's just,
no.
Everyone had a hot teacher in school.
Oh, yeah.
A young hot teacher or a hot sub.
Mr. Collins, he was my grade 11 science teacher.
Yeah, Mr. Copeland, the one that married his student, was the hot one at our school.
Some of Mr. C's.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. C.
Right?
But Mary Kay, though, it's like, you know, there's exceptions to every rule. And now.
I don't agree with that at all.
But she stayed with him forever. They had 3 kids.
But she could have she brainwashed him maybe to staying with her. You cannot, but you are a grown-ass woman and your teacher is now not even a teacher, a lawyer.
Yeah.
It's like a TA. Do you remember teacher's assistants at your school?
Yeah.
They were young. They were either like in university or maybe even students too.
Yeah.
You know, I don't see anything wrong with you pursuing this. If you get along and you talk and you're comfortable with a bit of an age difference, like there could be an age difference of 7 years, 5 years even between a student and a teacher.
Yep. I'll tell you about myself. Actually, well, you just said age difference. I'm all over the place because I got 2 stories. My grandparents were like this. My grandfather on my mom's side was a teacher, and my grandmother was a student at the school. There's an 11-year difference between them too. And my grandpa was never my grandma's teacher, but there was still some funny business going on, which these days I think would be very frowned upon.
Well, and I think that's the difference is if the teacher has used their position of power.
Yeah.
To
coerce.
Then that's different. But this is a circumstance where you've been out of school for X amount of years. Yes. You guys reconnected 10 years after you were in high school.
Yes, yeah.
That's totally different. I think that is totally okay. I think you should pursue it. If you like him, and it sounds like you did, if you could talk about politics together and get along.
Yeah, why not? And if it was romantic or if it turned that way, that could be a really awesome story of how you guys met.
But people will be a little weirded out by it at the same time, I think.
I reconnected with one of my high school or grade school teachers years later. His name was
Who says grade school?
Well, what is it, elementary school?
80 years old?
We don't say elementary school, do you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Take your pick.
Sorry.
I don't know.
I didn't know that was like an East versus West thing.
I didn't either. I don't know.
Oh,
maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Elementary school, Watson.
Elementary.
I had a teacher in grade 7 named Monsieur Gravel, and years later we reconnected on Facebook, and he's gay. And in school, we all knew he was gay. In fact, like we would do terrible things. Like at recess, we would sneak into his desk and go through his drawer. And one day I found a watch in his drawer that had a rainbow wristband, and it said boy love on the face of the... But could you imagine? Here I am in grade 7, 13 years old.
1998?
Yes. Yes. God, you're good.
Well, it's true.
Yeah.
I was 97, and you're younger than me.
Oh, yeah, I guess if you were trying
You graduated in 04, right?
Sorry, I thought you said like 2010. Yeah. And so, but you can imagine this fine because he was one of those teachers that everyone was like, he's gay. But when I found this watch, I was like, I have proof. I was the king of the playground.
Was he hot?
Not really. He's very French. He kind of looked like Johnny Novak, but with like nerdy glasses. Like Johnny's hot, but this teacher was like, nerdy version. Anyway, so years went by. We reconnected on Facebook, and he's come to a couple of my comedy shows, and I've chatted with him, and it's fine. But in the back of my mind, I'm kind of like, is this weird? Like, he's never hit on me or vice versa. It's all very platonic, but there is that feeling of like, you're my teacher. Like,
right. It's like a parent-child.
Yeah.
It's the authority versus...
Yeah, I don't know, but like,
and I think that's why our writers like all.
So what I'm trying to say is, I get it. I get the weird feeling. It's like because the way you were raised, or like in your childhood, when you have these formative memories of this person, it's an authority figure, and
also when you're introduced to a person, your relationship began on like
that's what I mean.
The person you look up to, and we were told all the time that teachers are our mentors, and we look up to teachers and stuff like that. But we're all humans at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you realize your teacher is an actual human.
It's no different than seeing your teacher for the first time at a bar.
Or the grocery store.
Right. Or gas station even.
Anywhere.
But somewhere outside of school, it's like, whoa, wait a second.
You're real?
You're real. You drive a car. You drink. You have friends.
You don't eat bugs?
I will always remember the first time I saw like the young, cool teachers from my high school at the bar when I was legal age to be there, and they were. I'd seen them previous when I wasn't of legal age.
Yeah, but then you'd hide.
Exactly. That's exactly what I did. But this time it was like the first time seeing them and sitting down, and I bought them a drink. And
that's weird.
We had a conversation because it had been a couple years since I'd been in university. And they're like, so what's going on with you? Are you still in Alabama? This and that. And we just sat down, and there was like a shift of not power, but there was a shift of
relationship.
Yeah. And it became two adults speaking to each other now instead of my teacher and my kid. But that's because they were very young teachers. So they were probably 26, 27 when they were my teacher.
Yeah.
Which now we think back to that age and I go, holy fuck, I was so young then.
It's true. And think of it from the teacher's perspective. Like, that's a pretty cool thing. If you want to be a teacher, you care about young people and educating them. So now to see one of your students as a fully formed woman,
like excelling.
That'd be a nice feeling. Excelling. Well, at the time you were doing well.
I was still in school, okay? Yeah. I hadn't been kicked out.
Yeah.
They didn't have many high hopes for me. I'll just put it that way. They were like, God bless this girl for being able to kick a soccer ball the way she can because she's got nothing else going for her.
You know, it's funny, these things. Like, this meddling in people's sexual or just personal relationships. We talk about it with the gay thing. Why is it anybody's business who you want to have sex with? Yeah. So is this sort of that same category?
Well, I think the whole reason she thought it was wrong to begin with is because it goes back to that teacher-student thing. And that, are they abusing their power? And that's when it becomes wrong, you know?
Yeah.
When there's an age, like you can be a 1-year age difference, but if you're 13 and they're 14, like it's still kind of wrong, is it not?
Well, if you're a teacher, or do you mean just in general?
Just in general. Like, to me, age isn't the number it is. It's the stage of life that you're in.
Sure.
So if you're in your teens still and there's a 20-year-old teacher taking advantage of you.
I see what you're saying.
Or having a relationship with you, that is taking advantage of you. That's totally wrong. Right. But if you're like 20 and they're 25 or 28 or 30, I think you're both at the point where you're adults.
Yeah. As long as it's two consenting adults. I actually had a thing in my high school where there was a girl named Sarah. We'll just leave it at Sarah. And she was dating the janitor. And he wasn't much older than us because we were grade 12. I don't know. He was in his 20s, like you just said. But it became a big scandal because everybody was like gossiping about it. So they had to take it up with the office, and it was a big thing. But in the end, they let them continue dating because it wasn't a conflict of interest. He wasn't a teacher. He wasn't authority.
And she wasn't underage, though?
Well, she was 17.
Which is not underage in Ontario.
Right.
I think it's 16.
Yeah. So
as long as the parents are consenting and everyone's okay with it.
Yeah. But she got teased.
But like, think about that. Like, you can be a janitor at a high school when you're 19.
Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
So you are working amongst your peers.
But it doesn't matter where you work.
And also the janitor doesn't hold a position of authority.
That's exactly why
the student.
They let it go. But this is a good lesson for, it doesn't matter where you work. Maybe you shouldn't shit where you eat.
Don't dip your pen in the company's ink.
Something like that.
I did it once.
Oh yeah?
I did it once. I had an ongoing affair with
you and Tony Stark. I knew it all these years.
This was like way before you knew me. But I was working at a radio station, and me and another street team member had a thing, and
so you were the authority.
And it didn't, no, we were both street team members at the time. This is before my big debut. And it never ended. It didn't end well. If it starts it was secret. And if it starts on secrecy, I don't think. Yeah. So don't be secret about it. I think you need to go for it, girl. I had a good vibe when I read your letter because the way you said, like, I really like him. Like, it's like, I really like him, but I don't know if my friends will approve. Girl, you're both adults. Go for it.
It doesn't matter what your friends think.
Yeah. And now he's a lawyer.
Oh, so he's not even a teacher anymore.
It's a way better paycheck than a teacher.
Our light just burnt out. Does that mean the show's over? The light's like, get the hook. Get the hook. Oh, we're back.
Not so much, though.
Well, because you're on orange. You got to go to the white setting. There we go.
There we go.
No. Someone put us on TV, please.
It's okay. I look like porcelain all the time. It's all good.
Yeah. I think she should do it. Like I said, my grandparents, they've been married 60 years. That was a teacher-student thing, 11-year difference.
Sometimes we can't control the people that we do fall in love with. As long as it's not illegal and fucking dirty and grimy.
Yeah. Every case needs to be examined. And the reason I bring up my grandparents so much is because if that taboo relationship didn't happen, then I wouldn't be here.
Right.
So it's like, you know, sometimes life
just think you can have a Jesse out of this.
Oh my God. Yeah. So.
Oh, vote for us for Faces.
Oh, that's right.
And
for Faces. People are like, what? It's Faces magazine.
In the media section.
I'm also there for MC, comedian, actor.
Oh, and send us our letters too.
Yeah.
I interrupted you because I didn't want to hear you rattle off. I'm in there for dog groomer and my dental hygienist.
The one I'm most proud of is TV personality. Never been on TV in my life. Wish I was, but
you've been on CTV a few times.
Yeah, but come on, I'm not a. Okay, our lights out again. We got to get out of here.
Why does it keep doing that?
Jesse and Jenna's messy podcast at gmail.com.
Good, you did it this time. Cheers! And go fuck your teachers. I'm joking.